Hi guys, Red Bandit here. Today I'm teaming up with Hazard, aka another Red Dead Redemption YouTuber you may know about. So I hope you guys enjoy today's video where we analyse some of the key details and features you guys might have missed in yesterday's reveal of screenshots and locations by Rockstar Games. If you do enjoy the video, make sure to deadeye that like button down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? My name is Zach, you can call me Hazardous. Welcome back to another Red Dead Redemption 2 video here on the channel today. I'm joined in with Red Bandit. How's it going, man? And today, in this Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we're going to be talking about some of the hidden features and details from the new screenshots that we received from Rockstar Games yesterday, detailing all the new frontier towns and cities, and also some awesome details about Arthur Morgan as well. So I guess to jump in, Bandit, if you want to start off with something you noticed.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to start off with one of the small things I noticed. I guess you could call it small. When we are looking at the screenshot here of Strawberry, which is the remote town with lots of log settlements and such, we can see that there is a hotel. You can see that some of the NPCs are leaning against the barrier. They're talking to each other in a much more natural way in comparison to like GTA, for example. I thought that was quite interesting because in GTA, NPCs will talk, they'll stand still, but as you can see here, it's a lot more natural in the way they do it. I just thought I'd bring that one up first.
Yeah, they're definitely doing their own thing right here, and like you said, it's not like old Rockstar NPC interactions where they're either just walking and talking or doing whatever. They're actually, performing different actions, hanging on the balcony and the railing and the banister. And it looks like one of the guys has either a drink in his hand or he has his hand up in some way, but they're all just chatting,
But it all contributes towards a much more immersive feeling, and the fact that they're leaning, they're relaxing, they look a lot more, natural in the way they're going about it. I think it's small details like this that are going to make the world feel more alive. That's just my opinion anyway.
Definitely. I wonder what's going to happen too if Arthur kind of walks up there and walks by the NPCs when the prostitutes outside the saloon in Armadillo just kind of lean on the balcony, but like when you walk by, they immediately stand up and start walking away. I doubt that's going to happen in this game. Something I wanted to bring up as well in Strawberry is the other screenshot with Micah Bell and Arthur Morgan when they're running. I was talking about this in the video yesterday. Obviously, Arthur Morgan's in a full sprint here. Both of them have dual revolvers, but it looks like Micah's in some type of like crouch sprint. It looks like he's trying to avoid getting shot and either taking cover behind that railing right there with all the carved wood. I'm not sure if that's necessarily what's going on, but if you look at his left eye, it's closed and it looks a little bit swollen, so possibly he was captured, held for ransom or something. Arthur Morgan broke him out, and now they're trying to escape. Micah doesn't have any weapon holsters on him, so he had to either pick up the revolvers off of enemies, or Arthur Morgan gave some pistols to him, whatever happened. It looks like they're running away from something and not necessarily after something. After looking at the way Micah Bell's all beaten up and without clothing on him besides just a normal button down, and I don't see what else they would be doing necessarily.
Definitely, yeah. It definitely looks more like Micah Bell the more I look at it, with the red shirt, the way the hair is. Of course, we can't confirm. But again, like you said, Arthur Morgan dual-wielding his revolvers there. Only one holster visible. However, I would presume this is of course confirming, once again reinstating the fact that we can dual wield weapons, and I'm really keen to find out exactly what happens. Maybe he gets captured by some sort of enemy gang or a cult, because Strawberry isn't really the town you'd expect to have things like that going on. It looks like a rather peaceful environment, but I'm definitely eager to find out what's happened here anyway, put it that way.
Definitely. And kind of a good segue from that too is the screenshot in Ansburg. If we just fly over there real fast, we can see Arthur Morgan talking to the two women and the boy outside the front porch of their house. We can see Arthur Morgan here. Obviously, this is coming on the left side of him, and we can see a weapon holster on his left side. And so I'm not too sure if this is confirming that there's, dual wield holsters for Arthur Morgan. He can have two holsters on at the same time. If you can dual wield, you should be able to have two holsters. That just makes sense from a design aspect. In this screenshot, this could be the first time that we've seen a holster on Arthur Morgan's left side. The only concern that I have is that perhaps this is just a flipped image that Rockstar did, but I can't really tell which side of Arthur Morgan this is coming from. If this is actually the left side of him or if this is just the right side. But if you look over his waist, you could see part of his holster buckle, and then you could see his bandolier hanging out there. And I'm not sure if there's one holster on his right side that's just peeking out from the side of his jacket. Maybe just in all these screenshots, it's just happened that his left holster has always been covered up.
I agree. Definitely looks more likely as time progresses. We know that we've seen various screenshots of dual-wielding pistols. However, this is the only evidence so far I can find, and you can find by the sounds of it also, that suggests to us that we can definitely have dual-wielded weapons holstered at once. I wouldn't imagine Rockstar Games making it so you can only have one, but then you can pick up an extra one. Definitely a good analysis, something I want to find out when the game is released as well. The next thing I wanted to talk about is Valentine, the small town that we're all familiar with the church tower, with the mountains in the background. And it said in the statement that Valentine was a high area of interest for animal trading. However, we did hear in the gameplay trailer, Micah Bell did say something about redistributing stock. What he meant by that was livestock. Putting two and two together, it sounds as though we may be able to, as a side activity, rustle up cattle or sheep, and considering Valentine is such a hot spot for trading animals, maybe even take them there to make some quick money, and we know that this is some sort of stuff that Rockstar would definitely introduce. I'm just wondering what you think about that and whether you think that's a possibility.
I definitely think it's a possibility, and it's a good point too, because Josh Bass and Aaron Garbett brought up in their interview with the Hollywood Reporter that you can kind of enter different buildings and just take things that you want. You know, it's not just like an empty space. There's drawers you could file through and things like that. I can only see things like that where you can go to a farm or a pen like this at night, take animals if you want, or just go in there during the day, blast some people and take their property. That's definitely pretty interesting. If you can do, you know, sheep and things like that, where does it stop? You could do horses, cattle, you know, pigs, all that stuff. Yeah, there's two other things. One of them, if we fly over to Saint Denis, actually, and we look at the screenshot of Arthur Morgan hanging on the side of the trolley. Initially, when I flipped through the screenshots, I kind of saw him, and I saw his hand up, just thinking he had his hand on the trolley, kind of taking cover shooting, and then obviously I looked at it a little bit longer, and he's really hanging on the side of this, and this seems to be some type of function you can perform in the game. Press RB or R1 on the PlayStation 4, and you can kind of hop on the side of a trolley with a handle like that and hold it and start shooting. I wonder what that's going to be in terms of accuracy, what that's going to do to Arthur, if he's going to be able to get proper aim. I just wonder what's going on with the trolley overall, though. You know, the electric power rails above the trolley that give it the electricity to go around Saint Denis, if those broke and like there's a fire starting or something, I'm not too sure. It looks like this is taken more or less with a telephoto lens from further away, zooming in on Arthur rather than just taking place right there. So we can't get a full scope of what's going on in this image.
That's very true. I feel like this might be part of a mission or a heist. Arthur Morgan's already got his bandana over his mouth, which suggests to us that either a robbery's just taken place, whether that's mission-based or free roam-based, we're not sure. We see this a lot with Rockstar Games, like with GTA 5 for example, we saw Trevor driving out the back of an aircraft with a jeep, and we thought, whoa, you can hijack planes and jump out the back of them, when in reality it was just a mission. However, I'm still reserving that fact in my mind that this may just be a mission-based script. You know, Rockstar Games like to show off features, but then it turns out that sometimes those features are restricted to certain missions or certain things that can play out during the game. But definitely, if this is something we can do, and we don't have to be on a mission to do it, it's going to be really, really awesome. Although it's going to be a fun feature, I definitely want to find out exactly what's going on here and why there's so many sparks. It looks as though some heavy gunfire is definitely going on, but I can't confirm what just yet anyway, put it that way.
For sure. And like you said, it would be a shame if it would be mission specific. Maybe it would have more of a better use in multiplayer rather than single player, but that's a story for another day. And then one of the last things I wanted to bring up too was Mount Hagen. I thought maybe blizzards would necessarily just be mission specific, and I made a video about weather before on the channel over the past weekend. No one really knew what the whole blizzard deal was in the gameplay trailer when we saw Arthur and Dutch kind of heading through the blizzard, and Dutch was saying that he needed, you know, we need to find food and supplies to keep the gang fed and alive. But it looks like from these screenshots here, at least of the one where Arthur and the gang are storming this encampment, the weather looks pretty bad, and so I can only imagine that if, whenever it's supposed to rain, you know, in the game's dynamic weather cycle, if you're high up in the elevations of Mount Hagen, it's going to be cold, and you're going to be thousands and thousands of feet above sea level, so obviously it's going to be cold, in which rain would be snow instead, and if you get winds and things like that, you get a blizzard, so that's pretty neat. And then lastly, the only other point I have is the actual horse tracks here in the snow. They're not necessarily just hoof imprints in the snow, as you would see with like Arthur walking through the snow or the mud or anything like that where he just leaves a footprint. These horses are actually dragging their feet through, so you can see the level of detail Rockstar goes in to actually create different clumps of snow, I guess, or whatever their particle effect system is. You could see the detail just in the horse tracks with the snow here too. It definitely looks cool. I mean, it's a high level of detail. All those tracks are unique, individual. It doesn't look like, you know, a set 4 or 5 tracks that are just repeated. It looks like completely different.
Definitely another thing that would tie into that as well with snow effects and the way it works is obviously the blood in the encampment where we see that guy being shot. We can see that the blood is exploding out of his body and it's coming out of all of his limbs and it's all on the ground in the snow, soaking up into the ground. I thought that level of detail was just really cool as well. Something that we haven't seen previously much in previous Rockstar titles anyway.
Yeah, and a lot of people were concerned with the gameplay trailer too and the lack of gore. If this isn't as much as a confirmation of the level of detail in terms of blood and gore in the game, I think we're in for a treat here.
Yeah, I think lastly, my last thing I wanted to just quickly touch on was the fact that boats, we've been speculating for a long time now, boats, are they going to be usable? Are we going to be able to travel through boats? Are we going to be able to swim? Well, as we see from this postcard with Arthur Morgan in the swamps, I believe the place is called Le Gras or Le Grasse, however you want to pronounce it, but we can see a depiction of Arthur Morgan in the background on a canoe, and hopefully that's some sort of way we can reach the northern island of Cinco Torres. Definitely awesome. I would like to see how far out to sea we can go, or whatever the limits are going to be, but I thought that was just the last point I should bring up here today.
Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sure if you guys found anything, be sure to point it out in the comments. I'm sure we can learn a lot from it, and we'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Just kind of flicking through these screenshots last minute, I'm noticing a few more things here. Fingers crossed for Thursday, guys. We could, I really just don't want Rockstar to go silent for another week like they did with the character artworks.
The next 2 weeks are jam-packed with information. Regardless of what happens, we've got tons to make and tons of content for people to look forward to. So, sounds great.
Sure, man. Hey, thanks for coming on. Guys, I hope you have a fantastic day. And if you enjoyed watching this video, definitely drop a like. And we will see you guys in the next video.
Yep. Adios.